And I think it's one of the reasons that adults often shy away from engaging with children when they ask philosophical questions. We're used to giving answers. We're used to being the advisors, the experts. We teach children how to tie their shoes, how to tell time. And so when a child asks us, what's the difference between believing and knowing? And we don't have a very clear answer about that because it's a very difficult, continued to be unsettled question, we're kind of stymied and we're not sure what to do. And so often I think adults are uncomfortable and diffident about engaging in these kinds of conversations. Really what it requires, in my view, is a shift from kind of out of the role of the expert into the role of a kind of co-inquirer, so that we're seeking with young people to better understand the philosophical dimension of our experiences, rather than teaching them about what the philosopher said, right? I think of course, I studied philosophy. I think it's great to study the great philosophers, but if you walked into a second grade class and said, okay, I'm going to teach you, Descartes' dream argument, they're not going to care very much about that, right? But if you walk in and you say, dreams are really mysterious, aren't they? And you start to talk about the way in which dreams calls into question the way what we think we know about the world, then you can get them, right? So my hope is that children who get philosophy, who are able to talk about philosophical questions with their peers, then eventually will get to the place where they get really interested in what Descartes or et cetera have to say. So in these exchanges, when I go into a classroom, it's as much more of an equal, because we're both bringing something important to the enterprise. I'm bringing, presumably, a greater conceptual sophistication and life experience, and they're bringing a fresh perspective and an openness to exploring all possible views. Because what adults might sometimes characterize as children's naivete actually becomes a strength, because they tend to be unafraid to think about a question imaginatively. They're less worried about making a mistake or sounding silly, and they share their thoughts with relative unreservedness. And this allows for what the philosopher Gareth Matthews once called the free exploration of possibilities. Kind of anything's up for grabs, as long as you can give a reason for why this might make sense. Even if it sounds crazy, we'll take it seriously.